Good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are starting the session on Ukraine. Uh, if you are interested, we would like to invite you. We are going to have some interesting presentations. If you want to do business with Ukraine, it's just the moment to come here. And we are going to start the session where we have 4 panelists, people from Ukraine and from the European Commission. So I would like to present the speakers today. We have Olga Willward, who is the international manager for the Ukrainian Cluster Alliance. We have Olga Shapova, the director of IT cluster in Kharkiv. We have Natalia Lopina, who is representing a startup. Interesting story from coming to Germany and becoming an entrepreneur. And we have Ores Takas from DG NIR, Directorate General for Enlargement Service for Ukraine. And I'm Marek Szor, I'm responsible for cluster policy in the Directorate General for Internal Market and Industry, as well developing the close business relations with Ukraine, between Ukraine and EU. So I would like, if I can have first slide as an introduction, to can we have slides, please? So these are our panelists. Next slide, please. Next slide. Actually, our support for Ukraine started already, this integration, long ago. But in 2017, you see that there was already facilitation of visas, and then it was the association agreement which took place. But real acceleration started when the Russia invaded Ukraine in March 2022. And since then, it was a dynamic, very dynamic development, both political, economic relations, and between between Ukraine and EU. In June 2022, Commission recommends the candidate status. Actually, in June 2023, Commission has oral update on the status of Ukraine and the progress. And in November, the Commission proposes Ukraine as an accession country. And now the Council agreed. So since actually the beginning of this year, Ukraine is the candidate country, meaning for us as the European Commission that we are starting the process of accession with the negotiations going on. We have as well, next slide please, supported from the very beginning. Altogether it's estimated of support with 200 billion euro, with 50 billion of this new Ukraine facility which was adopted, and this money is going to be invested in and with Ukraine. Next slide please. But as well, we are organizing at the project level some activities. We have the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs, where we incorporated the potential or new entrepreneurs from Ukraine to work, to come and see, be hosted by the European enterprises. We have example today. We have a business bridge with support for 2,500 of 1,500 small SMEs to bring them on board with in terms of the market, or in terms of business cases, financial advice. And last but not latest is the one, next slide please, is the one which is EU-Ukraine cluster partnerships, where we actually want to create partnerships between EU and Ukrainian businesses. Next slide please. So in the specific industrial ecosystem, the most important is to build trust. The most important is that the people know each other in order to start doing business, exchanging technologies, exchanging people. You can see some of the most important industrial ecosystems for our collaboration that we want to develop. Next slide, please. And we have the potential because there are 1,500 cluster organizations in Europe, and we have many as well right now, 30 to 50 cluster organizations in Ukraine. Next slide, please. And the situation is actually from the economic point of view, the latest National Bank of Ukraine data showing that there is increasing CN rate traffic, there is stable situation with hryvnia, there is low inflation expectations, there is seasonal recovery, so there are good economic, actually promising potential. Of course, I will not say there is a war, with all consequences related to this, and this we cannot change, at least for now. Next slide, please. So let me now introduce Olga. Olga is going to tell us about the setup of Ukrainian Cluster Alliance, who we have, who are the potential partners. Olga, the floor is yours. You need to wait a second. It will be activated. It's going to activate. It takes time. This one, because a colleague is activating. Yeah, you have it.
This one is working.
Okay.
Okay, it's better now. Okay. So yes, I'm presenting Ukrainian Cluster Alliance, and it's a relatively young organization. It has been established like 2 years ago as a response to was established at a very dramatic moment of our history when Russian troops was in a few kilometers from Kiev, so it was late March, and it was established as a response to Russian aggression and its demand to fulfill the demand for business consolidation to effectively resist this aggression. Initially, it was 16 clusters that we united, and now it's one of the most large business association in Ukraine, uniting 30 clusters of 1,800 enterprises. That cluster is divided into economic areas and reflected by 5 research centers: smart industry, medical center, agri-food, and 2 cross-sectoral research centers. We have, maybe next slide. Main strategy, main focus of Cluster Alliance is the small and medium-sized business internationalization and export. So there are 3 pillars of the strategy. First one is integration into EU supply chains. Ukraine lost lots of enterprises on occupied territories. Most of them were destroyed or out of Ukrainian control. We also lost lots of critical infrastructure as a result of Russian missile attacks and shelling. So establishing new value chains is extremely important, and integration of Ukrainian enterprises into European value chains is important too. Next one is innovative systems. To win the war, we have to be innovative, and the number of innovative startups in Ukraine is growing. We need your expertise, your knowledge, your technology, your financial support to build our innovative systems. We are very successful, especially in these areas as defense, dual use, energy, ICT development, and so on. We also believe in bilateral collaboration agreements, business to business. It's the most efficient way to start production and start to establish new products and new services. Yes, Ukraine is actively working on integrating business enterprises into European value chains. One of that initiatives is Ukrainian Facility Plan. It's the plan to support 50 billion euros of financial assistance from Europe by certain actions. And those actions are aiming at certain economic areas: energy sector, transport and export logistics, agri-food sector, critical raw materials, entrepreneurship, information technologies, and green transition and environmental protection. Cluster Alliance also contributes a lot into that plan. We presented more than 30 projects in the area of twin transition and the resilience of value chains. Also, on our part, due to cluster meet regions events, we met lots of partners in European Union, clusters and businesses, and mostly from Germany, Poland, Czech, Slovakia, and Romania. So we established already business cooperation in these countries. Ukrainian clusters are very young and inexperienced and need a lot of support. So Ukrainian Cluster Alliance established extensive portfolio of cluster services for Ukrainian companies and Ukrainian clusters. Internationalization and export is the biggest demand now in Ukraine. As for our international partners, finding a right Ukrainian partner is very important, and establishing business in Ukraine is also important, one way or another. You have to establish your presence in Ukraine. So I think matchmaking, networking, mediation would be most important services for you. And our new initiative, Professionals for Ukraine program, is the ambassador networks where professionals of Ukrainian origin being active in their countries of residence to support business cooperation, to work with national programs to support Ukraine, to arrange business meetings and visit organization and other initiatives. So they are provided by our representatives in the different countries. So basically, it's what I wanted to say at this moment.
Olga, thank you very much. And Olga, we need to leave soon for because of flights. You might probably not stay with us by the end of this. We pass immediately to IT cluster in Kharkiv. Olga, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Okay. Hi to everybody. It's a big honor to be here today. My name is Olga Shapoval. I'm executive director of Kharkiv IT Cluster. So Kharkiv IT Cluster, it's a rather big community. Almost 9 years old, and also we are member of supervisory board of Ukrainian Cluster Alliance from the last year. So we know that community is very powerful instrument to encourage and empower any type of businesses. So if we speak about Kharkiv IT Cluster in glance, so today we have like more than 600 associated members, full members and partners. We are growing very fast, and now we supported not only companies, IT companies from who really have, for example, physical offices in Kharkiv, but we also give cluster services, cluster support for other IT companies who now really lost a little bit their geopositions because of relocation, because IT businesses is very, it's not about physical presence, it's more about people, and people, as you know, from Ukraine, from Kharkiv, from other regions, they relocated and they continue to move. So a lot of people, for example, for IT industry now, 70% of our people there in Ukraine, particularly from 20 to 22,000 software engineers are in Kharkiv, and then other people in all parts of Ukraine. We have no such big diaspora in any city, unfortunately for us, because for cluster is a challenge how to connect people together, but still 30% of our people are abroad, but we keep connections with each member. We support each member, our system, and due to also to projects of European Commission, it could be empowered, and our projects really scaling up during last 2 years. And also we are hope now, because we are ready to launch our first European Digital Innovation Hub. In order, it would be like a big project for Ukraine, and we hope that we launch one project, Eastern European Innovation Hub in Kharkiv, in order to digitalize and boost digitalization of real sector of eastern part of Ukraine, especially for now it's Poltava, Sumy, of course Kharkiv Kharkiv and Dnipro, and for the next future, I hope very much that it would be Donetsk, Lugansk, and Zaporizhia, and it would be like a big project, and I hope that on the fundamental basis of today's cluster cooperation, of the fundamental basis and in partnership with all our other clusters in this framework of Ukrainian Cluster Alliance, with the support in cluster cooperation program, we will boost our economy in its way of recovery. And of course, like as a fundamental thing for us now as two projects, first project is already going last several years, and Enterprise Europe Network. It's like for our members, we called it like a trusted B2B LinkedIn, when you can find real partner, real member for your potential consortium, for potential projects, and for IT industry, it's quite new instrument. Our company is just starting to use it, as for example other companies did last several, like many years, and we have honor to be local contact point for this project, and we really see value of this project for economy development. And our business bridge new project, Ukraine Ready for EU, finally started. We had a lot of applications from small and medium enterprises to boost their export promotion. And tomorrow, for example, we will have like information day how to get this support from this project. So if you representative of small and medium enterprises, you are acting globally, you want to get support from European Commission, please come tomorrow for attend this online event, Info Day, and you can get very easily, because it is like a digital platform. This digital platform estimate your chances to get this support, and it's really very transparent, very easy instrument to boost export for Ukrainian small and medium enterprises. So I am open to cooperation. Now we are launching partnerships with other IT clusters in Ukraine, and also we have had like this partnership during last 9 years, but now we are launching cooperation with European clusters, and we hope that this synergy we have now synergy in different European Commission projects. We have now synergy in this European Digital Innovation Hub, possible, projectable, but it's in cooperation with our the biggest universities in Kharkiv, with the support of all ministries, which is like policymakers in Ukraine. And I hope that for the next future, we can really develop the real ecosystem for technology business and other businesses in synergy. So let's create strong partnership together. So thank you very much, and thank you one more time for this opportunity.
Thank you, both Olga. Your example of created structures actually after the war that are for us as the European Union the way to reach out to potential entrepreneurs as well. Yeah. So this is the way. What we have the slogan as well. You want to help Ukraine do business with Ukraine. Yeah? So it's not. At a certain moment of time, and particularly Ukrainian Cluster Alliance, we have the history, how it was created. When the war started, we had links before, but very not so tight. And then the war started, and you know, interesting is when crisis comes, people tend to come together and trying to find solutions. So slowly it started to develop, and together with Ukrainian clusters who created the Ukrainian Cluster Alliance. Ukrainian Cluster Alliance was involved in the work of the European Cluster Alliance, and now we have the structures which can work together. So thank you very much for this. I know, Olga, you need to leave, but at the same time, we continue with practical example. So we have the, you saw about the Erasmus for Young Enterprises. We have the real example and evidence of the entrepreneur, PhD in medicine actually, who started to build a business in Europe. The first year. Natalia, please.
Thank you very much for the invitation to join this session. It's a great honor for me. I want to present Ukrainian startup way in relocation. I also from Kharkiv. I'm cardiologist, I'm cardio-oncologist, and I have medical startup education project. I create simulation training platform for medical education, ClinicS Quest. We develop two interesting technologies for develop our simulators of clinical cases that helps doctors and medical students to get clinical experience faster in a safe patient environment. This February, Society in Europe for Simulation Applied to Medicine recognized one of our technologies as advances in simulation. We should relocate it to Germany in March 2022 from Kharkiv. We relocated to Berlin. Our journey in collaboration with the European Union started just in September 2022 from Stuttgart Startup Summit. We were selected to participation among most 130 participants according to the Enterprise European Network and their Germany partners, Ministry of Economy of Baden-Württemberg, Ministry of Education and Science in Ukraine. I want to emphasize the transparency and integrity of this selection process. 10 Ukrainian startups, 10 Ukrainian founders at that time received unique opportunity to familiarize themselves with Germany's startup ecosystem. We received opportunity, firstly, to represent our innovation products to investment funds, to accelerators. Thanks to this support, thanks to this successful pitching in Stuttgart, I received opportunity to study in two programs, Life Science Accelerator program in Heidelberg, Germany, and onboarding program in Mannheim. For me, they were really personal great opportunities, but I always said that it was emergency care unit for our startup because we receive a chance for restarting our work. We receive a chance for further development in Mannheim in Germany. Then I also participated in the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs program. But we continue our study in collaboration with Ukrainian startup system, with Ukrainian consortium Enterprise European Network. We participated in training called How to Win European Innovation Council Accelerator Project. And we have submitted in January this year this short form because our future is in combination our technologies with artificial intelligence. For this we required a grant, so we were invited to submit a full proposal for this grant, and in March this year we submitted a full proposal. I also, at the end of my presentation, want to share my personal reflection. When I firstly arrived to Berlin, I felt myself like a refugee. But in the support, in collaboration with European Enterprise Network, partners in Germany, and this really strong network, I started feeling myself as a founder again. And this is very important for our further development. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Talia, you actually, the example we will have more and more because the Ukrainian entrepreneurs, Ukrainian citizens are all eligible now as well to Horizon Europe, so Ukrainian researchers can easily participate in all in consortia on developing research in the EU. The same for the single market program. On the projects, we will have the project on Euroclusters, building partnerships. They can participate as well. And we have all other programs as well, like more and more open for Ukrainian citizens. So these cases we will have more and more. And now let me move to Orest, who is from actually the Director General for neighborhood, or for enlargement or neighborhood. you can tell us, but if you can tell us about the Ukrainian facility and the investment framework. Orest, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. First of all, I just want to say that I'm so pleased to sit here today at the panel with these wonderful ladies coming also all the way from Kharkiv. Both of you come from Kharkiv. I know, Olga, you actually traveled today not yesterday, but the other days probably, from Kharkiv. It's a long journey. It's a city that is suffering very much currently from the Russian aggression. We know that the situation in Ukraine is really difficult, that Ukraine has suffered a lot in terms of the economic impact. In particular, the first year, Ukraine has lost around 20% of its GDP. So many people actually have suffered really on a personal level. Refugees, we have Natalia with us today. It's just an example of what Ukrainians have gone through over the past couple of years. Yet, if we look, for example, at the last year, we see that actually it's not only the suffering, it's not only the difficulty that Ukraine is facing, but it is also an opportunity. And this is how we would like to see our support to Ukraine. And this Ukraine facility that I'm going to talk about today, the 50 billion package that we made available just in February this year in order to support Ukraine. We see this as a crucial element of Ukraine's reconstruction. We see that reconstruction is not only a generational challenge, but really it is an opportunity. Because, for example, last year, Ukraine's economy has grown by 5%. And if we look at the damages that have been caused to Ukraine by the Russian aggression, the needs for reconstruction, and we compare the last study that was published several months ago by the World Bank together with the EU Commission, the figure is staggering. It is 486 billion that is needed in the short and the medium term for recovery and reconstruction. But at the same time, over the last year, it is only 70 billion of that a big figure that was added in terms of damages. So indeed, I think this is a sign that Ukraine not only faces challenges, but it is really an opportunity and offers viable business opportunities. Businesses and startups like we have here today with us, they are a demonstration of that. With the 50 billion package, the Ukraine facility, what we want to do at the EU is that we support Ukraine's government, economy, we support its society, we support the rebuilding, reconstruction of Ukraine, and at the same time we link it very closely to reforms that Ukraine needs to undertake on its EU accession path. So we have three pillars within this 50 billion facility. The first one is there to support the budget of Ukraine, to support the running of the state, payment of salaries, payment of pensions, recurrent expenditures, but also investment that would be happening within the Ukrainian budget. The second pillar of the Ukraine facility, this focuses on mobilizing investment. I mentioned that we need 486 billion for the recovery of Ukraine. We are making available 50. This only shows us that we cannot do it alone. We need partners to work together with. We need in particular the private sector. And this is what the Pillar 2 of the Ukraine facility will do. It will mobilize both public and private investments for the recovery and reconstruction of Ukraine. And Pillar 3, its third main component, links this financing, links the budget support, links the financial instruments and tools with Ukraine's EU accession path. We see Ukraine being an EU member in the future. We see that and we recognize that Ukraine is a European country, it belongs to its European family. And this financing that we will make available there will help Ukraine embark on its accession path, carry out the reforms, support programs that will help advise Ukraine to implement those reforms. In terms of budget, of the 50 billion, of course, the largest part is dedicated to the running of the state, to budgetary support. It is 38 billion that are made available there in form of loans and grants. Second, it is the investment instruments, the tools that with which we mobilize private investment in particular. And last but not least, it is also the financial assistance that is made available to advisory programs and grant support. Of this budget, 1/3 are grants, 2/3 are loans. I would like to talk more about the second pillar, the investment arm of the Ukraine facility, as we call it, which will mobilize this private investment for recovery and reconstruction. Here we make, I mentioned in the previous slide, it is around 7 billion in taxpayers' money, but actually there is a little bit of financial engineering. What we make available is 9.3 billion in investment instruments to mobilize 40 billion. So indeed, this is an opportunity that we see unfolding with the mobilization of private sector. We need to team up with the business community, and this is also why we are here today, to talk to the businesses, to explain how these instruments can be made available also to their benefit, because reconstruction is not only about public investment, infrastructure, but it is very much about teaming up, business and government working together in order to create also win-win possibilities. Today we are in Germany. I'm sure German business also has its eyes open about reconstruction of Ukraine. Reconstruction is not only about funding this with public resources, but indeed there are economically viable cases which we want to support with our financial instruments. We are modeling this second pillar, the investment arm of the Ukraine facility, after what we have done already in the past. We are not starting from scratch. We are building on the work that we have done with guarantees and so-called blended finance, where we mix grants with loans. And we have done that in Ukraine already extensively over the last couple of years. We are, however, expanding significantly. I will come later also to the figures of the ongoing support that we already dedicate to Ukraine in terms of private sector investment is around 2.2 billion that we have already running. Here we are scaling this up exponentially. So from this amount of 2.2, we are jumping to 9.3, and we are going to mobilize 40 billions in investments coming from the private sector. So this is indeed a large opportunity for the business. We are going to focus on multiple sectors. So this is a whole of economy, whole of society approach. Public and private sector working together, helping rebuild infrastructure, transport, energy, digital infrastructure, but also helping to boost access to finance to companies. Access to finance, this includes loans, but also includes other types of financing. It could be, for example, startup finance, venture capital, equity investment. It could be also insurance products that would help Ukrainian businesses operate, that would support them in the work that they do. We are limited to working with international financial institutions. So our partners are big development banks like the European Investment Bank, the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, bilateral development banks of EU member states, KfW, the German Development Bank, BGK, the Polish Development Bank. So whenever businesses are interested in getting this type of support, they should address the big development banks or work also locally with commercial banks that operate in Ukraine. We have certain priorities within the Ukraine investment framework, and actually it was just last week that we have a set of major meetings held in Brussels we have had the first meeting of the Ukraine Investment Framework, its steering board, that officially kicked off this investment pillar of the Ukraine facility. And we have had also a large-scale event bringing business and governments together. We call it the Ukraine's Future Summit, for the first time really bringing these types of stakeholders in Brussels, which is the heart of the EU, the center of Europe. And we have approved in those meetings, notably the first steering board of the Ukraine Investment Framework, a certain set of priorities. This is described in a strategic document that we call Strategic Orientations. It outlines, really aligned also with the Ukraine facility plan, the plan of Ukraine for recovery, reconstruction and modernization that has been debated for so many months in the past. It is focusing specifically on sectors that Ukraine's government identifies as priority, be it in the area of infrastructure, such as energy, transport, or in the area of strategic industries, critical raw materials, working across access to finance, support to SMEs. And within our Ukraine facility regulation, which has been adopted, which is a law currently, we also have specific targets to meet climate mitigation and adaptation measures, to support small and medium-sized companies, and in particular also to dedicate public sector support to infrastructure through work that we do with the European Investment Bank. I mentioned already that we are not starting from scratch. We have been working in Ukraine with these type of financial instruments over the last couple of years with the existing framework. It's 2.2 billion. We have been delivering guarantees, private equities, investment grants, interest rate subsidies. And this is a whole set of instruments that we can combine in order to have an impact on the economy. And again, we work across different sectors. I mentioned them before. I have one example of a program here that I wanted to talk about. This is a program where we deliver our financing to the Polish Development Bank, which in turn makes available funding to Ukrainian businesses through, or I should rather say businesses that operate in Ukraine. So it is Ukrainian, but could be also European businesses that work in Ukraine. And it is a guarantee facility that really helps commercial banks in Ukraine to serve vulnerable groups, to serve war-affected territories, and here in particular work in frontline territories, work in areas of the country that have been affected by the bombing, by the shelling, work with businesses that have been directly actually impacted. And we see that this program has been very, very successful. So also last week when we kicked off the Ukraine Investment Framework, we have discussed an allocation, a new allocation to this program. So there will be more of this kind of funding going to the Ukrainian system. And I have a few pictures here of a company from Chernihiv, actually, which was also occupied when the Russian invasion started. Their facilities were looted, were bombed as well. However, with the funding that we make available, they manage to restart their business. They manage to buy new equipment, to use the expertise, because it's not only about physical capital, but human as well. Use their capacities to restart the business, to recover from the effects of the war, and to show that actually reconstruction is possible now. It is happening now. We cannot wait for the end of the war. We, on the European Union side, we are fully committed to support Ukraine in this effort. And these type of programs, they really support and help Ukrainian and as well European businesses that operate in Ukraine withstand the aggression, provide a strong economy to Ukraine in this critical time. With this I finish. I have passed on actually a video to colleagues of another company that we have supported, a really powerful story of a business that operates just outside of Kiev, which was also impacted by the war. I don't know if it's possible to show the video, but indeed,
Ukraine
we just
is
wanted
known
to
for its
show that-
centuries-old traditions
Yes, and
of beekeeping and high-quality honey production, and is the second largest exporter of honey to the EU. For more than 10 years, Med Ukraini has been an important player in the beekeeping market, specializing in the purchase, processing, and export of high-quality natural honey from Ukraine. The company's production facilities and warehouses are located in the Kyiv region. In the first days of the Russian invasion, they were almost at the front line. Heavy shelling damaged the warehouses and destroyed some of the ready-made products.
On February 24th, we completely stopped with no hope of return. We've lost access to our production and we've lost some goods in transit. We developed a force majeure plan for a closure and default.
Despite the challenges, the company not only survived, but also fully returned to work, thanks to the support of the European Union and the European Investment Bank. The EU funding enabled the company to install modern equipment, which allowed it to create a value-added product.
In November 2022, we started to work on a new product, which were successfully launched and exported in March 2023. And now we are #2 international brand in one of the export end markets.
The company's recovery and success despite the war is not just about producing honey. It is about supporting the country's economy in extremely difficult times. It is impossible to revive Ukraine's economy without restoring and developing Ukrainian business. In the face of a brutal war, Ukrainian companies need support of European donors and investors.
We are one of the examples of Ukrainian processing industry. We give people jobs, we pay taxes, we support the armed forces. In short, we work for a victory. Ukrainian businesses need reliable partners with whom we will strategically develop the economy of not only Ukraine, but also Europe. The potential of every single industry in our country is incredible. We are worthy of your investment in your future and ours. We guarantee it will be successful and also delicious.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Orest. I think we can have now some time for discussion. If you have any questions from the audience to Olga, who is just coming from Kharkiv, she knows what is happening right now there. To Orest from the European Commission, who is actually starting negotiation with Ukraine, and from someone who is the entrepreneur in Europe with all the conditions, coming as a refugee and now really the founder, as you are saying. Would you have any questions? Would? Not really, but I have one question, if I may. And the question is actually to both of you, because you heard from Orest all these plans for support. You as entrepreneurs, actually, how do you see it, and where you see the biggest opportunity in what is proposed in the Ukraine facility?
We as a Kharkiv IT cluster, we participated in focus group also, yes, which like somehow was involved in
Next
developing.
Slide,
Yeah.
Will be next slide. We will show actually the focus group.
We need to switch.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. The focus group, yes. So we attended it very precisely. So to make some maybe our value, to create our value when it was like designing architecture, and also we were involved from the other part with in the group of experts with the help of Ernst & Young and Kyiv School of Economy and our Ministry of Economy and many other policymakers. And today we had a conversation with Orest, and we said that it's really great opportunity. But when like small or medium enterprise saw this huge amount of money, not always they understand how they particularly could benefit from it, how they could contribute if you want to mobilize, for example, like give investment to mobilize 40 billion of investments instead. So what is my role as a small and medium enterprise? And I think that next like few months it would be very big quantity of job, yes, for everybody to like show how this big money could be affordable, understandable for business of Ukraine, for society of Ukraine, and for every citizen to feel on himself physically that it's really helpful, it's really developing, because like every euro which you put to economy, if it works well, it's like creates 10 euro, 20 euro if it works. If you put it like under your mattress, so it does not work, economy is not working. So I think that our of course we like feel very, very exciting of this project, but I think that it's a lot of work to show how particularly small and medium enterprises, big enterprises could benefit and contribute to the project.
Thank you. Natalia, please.
Like as a startup, grants, funding, fundraising is my normal life process. I try to combine all these activities and look through all opportunities, all grant programs available in European Union as well, because a lot of them are available for Ukrainians as well, because we demonstrate our official registration documents in Kharkiv, and we continue our work officially in Kharkiv. We pay taxes in Kharkiv, and in this moment, European funding portal provide validation, provide peak validation based on the documents, and we also can participate in these grant programs as well. For Ukrainian startups, it's available. We have great opportunities in this moment, and I also was excited that when I applied it to European Innovation Council grant, accelerator grant, I received 3 days coaching program. I received a very professional coach from Romania. He helped me a lot and prepared. In 5 days, we prepared a very big and very difficult grant application. We provide a lot of calculations. And I was amazing that really for the work of this coach paid European Commission and European Innovation Council. And I have never in my life have such kind of coaching program that began from the patent search. We provide patent search together, and we revealed that we have in our startup 2 innovations that have not any the same in the world. So we have moved forward with this grant application, but it was so professional support, collaboration. I think that a lot of experts from European Union want to share their experience with Ukrainian companies, like startups, like founders, like me. And it was amazing process. I don't know the result of the full proposal application, but I so enjoy this process. I grow during this application process because I need to combine my different activities as a founder, research, our first validation studies, our scientific part, our business part, our marketing part. It was so exciting work, and it was with the support of the coaching program by Innovation Council. I'm very happy to join this community and to make stronger Ukrainian startup ecosystem as well.
Thank you. Well, while finishing, we will have my other question to you, because you are involved in this process right now of negotiations. And here we have the Hannover Messe, so we have entrepreneurs basically. What kind of piece of advice would you give to entrepreneurs, both from European, German, and Ukrainian side to come together?
Thanks for the question, and also perhaps picking up on some of the points just mentioned before, in particular by you, Olga, about how to access this funding, because indeed it's a big amount of money that we will have available, that we already have available. On our side, we have two main tasks now. One is to channel it to the Ukrainian economy in form of different programs, and we have to negotiate those programs, sign them, and make the financing available. We are aiming for the first programs to be launched this June, actually, at the Ukraine Recovery Conference in Berlin. But then it's not one specific program where people can go and apply for funding, like you described, Natalia. It's really a set of many programs. So it is indeed a challenging task for a business to understand where to go for money. We have a number of partners. We have currently already we have around 8 large development finance institutions that work with us. And we channel it to the economy also through local banks, through local equity funds, through also we are discussing insurance schemes. So it is really a number of partners that we are working with. So the second big task that I see for us, which is a collective one, is to better explain where are the opportunities, what this funding will, or how this funding will do, what this funding will do, how this funding will help the actual businesses. And we want to do more of this kind of outreach activities, talk to the business, organize workshops, come to fairs like this one, explain in more details actually what will be there available for Ukrainian but also European companies doing business with Ukrainians, doing business in Ukraine. And indeed, this is a big task for us ahead, and happy to continue this.
Thank you very much. I think with this we can conclude. In order to build the collaboration between companies and businesses, you need to have certain institutions and structures to be credible. So we have, of course, the clusters, which are the structures we've been creating as well in Ukraine. We have Enterprise Europe Network. We have other business associations, and this is the way we want to pursue. And last year, exactly here at this stage, I also moderated the session on Ukraine, the first in Hanover. At that time, here was the cluster manager Olga Trofimova from the automotive cluster. She was. It was different time. We started actually in 2022 with humanitarian help. Then we said, okay, listen, but let's do business. And it was her first speech of doing business actually with Ukraine, so that this is win-win. After a year, despite the war, actually we are in the moment that lots of integration happened between in the business terms. Her example is that the automotive cluster from Ukraine has been very much integrated right now with Skoda and Volkswagen value chain after exactly the war, even more than before. So these things are happening right now. Thank you very much to you for coming. You can see here focus group to which you can participate. We have the meetings, and we are looking for people who will give their voices. We are giving the updated information about the development of EU-Ukraine integration as well in business. And just let me quote the Webster's on resilience. Yeah? Resilience is the capacity to withstand or to recover quickly from difficulties. In 2 weeks, we have the European Cluster Conference. And after COVID, we were always talking about resilience. And you know, we will have 800 entrepreneurs, businesses all together. And we thought about, okay, we will talk about resilience. The idea came, the best is to bring a case. And Olga will come in 2 weeks to Brussels to talk about resilience, how actually she is able to resist all the stories that you have, being in IT, in Kharkov, that you provide business, even more. You develop the business, you grow, which is fantastic, and this is the best example of resilience. So building collaboration between EU and Ukraine is definitely win-win. You want to help Ukraine do the business with Ukraine. Thank you very much, and thank you very much to our panelists. I think we can give them a big applause.